everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 43 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in ECW history with match number 8 on our list, which is the ECW World Television Title No Time Limit match between the champion Rob Van Dam and the challenger Jerry Lynn from the Hardcore Heaven 99 event held on May the 16th of 1999. So I've talked about this match a little bit since this is the third Van Dam and Lynn match that's made our list. It is 100% the best match that they ever had against each other, one of the best matches in ECW, and a very important match for me personally because it was the first ECW match that I ever actually got to see. So I've talked about it at length. I was obsessed with ECW despite never being able to see ECW and just keeping up with it for a number of years through magazines. When ECW landed on TNN, it was finally the opportunity I'd been waiting years for, where I would get to see it. And the very first episode of TNN showed this match that happened at the Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view. I was already aware of this match, again, through magazines, and if you're a, we'll say like a longer tenured fan, you might remember the 90s, there was like an explosion of all of these like weird kind of off-brand magazines, like Wrestling's, Babes and Badasses, and like everything like that, like in that Attitude Era, that would just like have like, exploitive, pictures of like blood and gore and TNA and stuff like that, right? So I remember this match because on the cover of one of those off-brand magazines that I purchased, there was, it said Rob Van Dam and Jerry Flynn match of the year with like a question mark, and inside the magazine it talked at length about the match and had a lot of great photos from it. But I remember like being so weirded out by that because I knew who Jerry Lynn was and I kind of assumed that that's who it was about, and ultimately I would see that in the magazine. But because of the misprint, I thought it was Jerry Flynn from WCW, who was like a martial arts wrestler. So I found that really, really strange because I didn't know he was in ECW. But this match aired on TNN. I've since seen it countless times, both as part of the Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view. It's been on WWE commercial releases. I think it was on like one of the Rob Van Dam DVDs. Could have been on one of the ECW DVDs. I don't quite remember. But I've seen this match a lot, and it always holds up. The one thing that this match really has going for it is it has this familiarity between Van Dam and Lynn, which makes perfect sense. And you would see that through all of their matches, right? They'd have these, signature kind of, we could say it like, over choreographed reversal sequences that they would build upon through each of their matches and find, new ways to counter in and out of the same stuff. This one really delivers on that. And the thing that I really, really like about this match, so Living Dangerously 99 match earlier on our list. These guys went to a 20-minute time limit draw, and like I said, the finish was really weird, where, the referee was going to award the title to Jerry Lynn, which made no sense. Jerry Lynn didn't want to accept the title that way. We got the 5 more minutes, and Van Dam put him away pretty quickly after that with the Van Daminator. So in this match, even though it's no time limit, Jerry Lynn's sense of urgency throughout this bout is just incredible. Every chance he gets, he stays on Van Dam. He shows that he's learned from their previous encounters, and this really truly felt like his night where he was going to win the television title. Ultimately, spoiler here, that doesn't end up happening. But in hindsight, I get what they were going for with the elongated Van Dam title reign that unfortunately would be cut short when he broke his leg anyways. So with all of that, they say hindsight's 20/20, of course, but I really do wish that Jerry Lynn would have captured the belt on this night. It would have been a really great moment. But we get just really good stuff here. So they start out by pretty quickly going into their classic kind of Van Dam Lynn counter sequence standoff sort of thing. Van Dam backs Lynn into the corner, gives him the clean break. So they've also built up that there's that level of respect between these two guys. So it is, for all intents and purposes, a face versus face match, two clean wrestlers. But the thing with Van Dam is he's very cocky, he's very arrogant, he's a showboat. He tends to stall a lot in a lot of his matches. And that's where that Lynn sense of urgency really comes from. So, Van Dam kind of muscles him into the corner, backs up, gives him the clean break, but goes, for the Rob Van Dam pose. And Jerry Lynn, like not missing a beat, kind of gives him the death metal pose in return, gives him a boot, and stays on the offense. We get, RVD bails to the floor, and normally, he'd stall a little bit, he'd play to the crowd, Fonzie would blow the whistle a lot, but Lynn takes him out with a big dive from the top. As Van Dam's coming back into the ring, Lynn again doesn't let him rest and hits a leg drop off the top on him as he's coming through the ropes. It's all really good, really focused, really urgent stuff. The counter sequence in this match obviously are great. We've talked about, that they've learned from their past. So we get, Fonzie pushing Jerry Lynn off the top rope, crotching him on the ropes, which is a big spot they've used before. They go kind of for like the hanging Van Daminator where, RVD hits the springboard sidekick with the chair. Lynn avoids it, he ducks it, and he actually hits a chair shot on Van Dam, which was great. He, makes a mistake though, ends up getting caught with the same thing. And this is where the match really escalates. We get a scary spot where Lynn, eats that drop kick while he's crouched on the top rope, bumps to the floor, but he goes face first and actually splats his face off the arena floor, splits him open. We have double juice in this match because Van Dam gets, his eye cut open too. He's got a little bit of blood there as well. So this really shows, how stiff and how hard these guys were going at each other. But the Lynn fall is pretty scary. Van Dam basically has to deadlift him up into the ring, and you can tell Lynn is not all there. Thankfully, though, he recovers, and they're able to finish the match and have an absolute classic. Again, with those counters, Van Dam goes for the Rolling Thunder, sees Lynn sitting up, hits the kick to put him back down, which he'd done at Living Dangerously, but still ends up missing the Rolling Thunder because, Lynn had the whole thing scouted. It was really good. Lynn goes for a top rope Hurricane Rana to the floor through a table, which was one of his signatures. He'd done that against Just Incredible in their feud in the summer of '98. Van Dam has it scouted and hits a big back body drop instead, which flips Lynn to the other side through a ringside table. Unfortunately, the camera kind of misses it, so you don't see Lynn go through the table, but the thought is there. We get, again, a tease off the Tornado DDT through the ringside table from Living Dangerously. Van Dam puts the brakes on, clotheslines Lynn back into the ring, but Lynn follows through with just an insanely deadly sunset flip powerbomb to the floor through the table. It was really great stuff. We get a bit of a botch in this match where they're both standing on the top rope and they go for the complete 360 turnaround where they trade positions while standing on the top rope. An incredibly risky spot to do. You don't see it often, and for good reason. They end up kind of slipping and falling on, off the top onto the ropes. It's not too bad though, it's one little slip up, but they recover really well where Lynn actually uses that confusion to throw a chair to Van Dam and hit a drop kick into it, basically hitting his own version of the Van Daminator for a really close near fall. And the near falls in this match are so hot because it feels like Lynn, this is his moment and he's going to take the title. And they do their typical, kind of fish out of water, Malenko, Guerrero, now Van Dam, Lynn roll up sequence. They counter through and roll that through, and Lynn goes for the cradle pile driver, but, Van Dam back body drops out of that. And normally from these guys, you would get the spot where they bridge up, Lynn turns around into the backslide. But something that I loved here is when Van Dam goes for the back body drop, Lynn has it, countered, keeps on that gotch, right? That cradle that he would use for the cradle pile driver, rolls it through basically into a schoolboy roll up for a really hot 2. And I love that near fall so much because I've seen this match so many times, like I've said, but I always kind of bite for it just a little bit. Big time finish, which we kind of know that we're going to get. There is a spot here with the Van Daminator that is so good. So I've talked about it in these videos that the Van Daminator is basically Lynn's kryptonite. Whenever Van Dam hits that, it is over. So they go for it. Fonzie throws the chair to Lynn. Lynn catches it, ducks the spin kick, Sabu's the chair back to Bill Alfonso, throws it at him, hits him in the head with it. And it looked like Lynn finally had it all, worked out and was going to be able to, to put Van Dam away because the Van Daminator didn't work. RVD manages to get on a roll again, hits the 5-star frog splash, but Van Dam always does this big labored, my ribs sell when he hits the 5-star. And as he's doing that and crawls back over, Lynn small packages him for another really hot 2. Just like the schoolboy, that's always a near fall where I bite on just a little bit despite knowing the ending. The actual finish we get here is great. So after that, you can tell Lynn's kind of on the ropes. Van Dam's tried everything, though it's not working. And you kind of feel like if Lynn just gets that cradle pile driver, it might be it. We get another great counter sequence from these guys, kind of tying back to the start of the match. But out of nowhere, somewhere in all those counters, Van Dam gets his hands on a chair. Lynn catches it. What is it? It's the Van Daminator. Blasts Jerry Lynn with it one last time, goes back up top, and just, throws that cherry on top, that nail in the coffin, hits the 5-star frog splash one more time, a little more urgent on the cover this time, and it's enough to put Lynn away. This match is heralded as an ECW classic, and for good reason. It is excellent. It's one of the best feuds in ECW history. It's the best match of one of the best feuds in ECW history between two of the top performers in ECW history, and it's an incredibly important match given that it, was chosen to air in full on the first episode of TNN, and it's a hugely influential match as well. You'll talk to a lot of wrestlers and they'll talk about, how much this match meant to them and how much they would emulate, the RVD and the Lynn sequences. My friend Rip Impact, had mentioned on Twitter that, he went into the ring, basically as soon as this match was over and tried to replicate all the spots. So, just a big time classic match. Well worth being in the top 10 of this list. Some people out there might be surprised it didn't rank higher, but it just shows, the amount of excellent stuff still coming your way with what's left of this countdown. You can find this match, of course, on the WWE Network. It could be on Peacock, I'm not sure. Like I said, though, it's hit some commercial releases if you're a physical media sort of person, but you certainly can track it down online if you look hard enough. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you don't miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.